What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retold action in the left-hand corner of the map, playing as Amaterasu. It is Avely. You can see he's saying ragefully at the moment. I don't know if he's upset or if he's just, ready to show off his might with his newfound anger. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Tezcatlipoca, is Tunison. I picked this game specifically because it looked absolutely awesome. I don't really know what Tunison's plan is here with Tezcatlipoca. It's probably one of the more underplayed, under-investigated, and still very, very strong Aztec gods. So the big power points for Tezcatlipoca, in terms of what I've discovered, is one, you've got some really, really big power inside of the heroic age with making the laser turrets. So if you go for Hui, whether or not that's what's going to happen here, probably not. If you go for Hui and you go to the heroic age and you go in for, it doesn't really matter which way you go, but if you go for the Tsitsa path, then you can make yourself the tower, the laser turrets as well, and you get so many myth units, which helps you build up your obsidian shard sort of idea. Of course, the other idea would be to go for, in the classical age, you go for Molina, and then you're going to have yourselves some more powerful war hut units, which can be a big help against sort of samurai stuff and cavalry. It does make a lot of sense to go into Takiwa archers versus Amaterasu versus Japan, because Japan doesn't have the counter archer units that shut down the Takiwa archer. So in terms of the way that I see Age of Mythology and I see archer strength, if your archer has got low range, you've really got to be careful building them versus opponents' civilizations that have got high range counter archers, and Japan doesn't have those, so you're all in the clear to build them as a response to either Yati Spearmen, Samurai, or even you can use them against the Yumi archers as well to a degree, because the Yumi archers, while they do have the range on the Takiwa archer has the speed on the Yumi archer, so you can get into range, chase them down, and if they get out of position and they try and poke you, right, you can get into range, chase them down, and then they're going to start losing those trades. We do see Minakatatomi coming through for Avely here as well. This is becoming more and more standard. In fact, it's probably the most standard thing to do right now for Amaterasu. The Amano Uzume style has somewhat died out. It's still getting picked, but it's somewhat died out, as we do have the infested nest getting dropped down in the main base. One of the cool things about playing Molina is literally this infested nest gives you the protection against early game cavalry that you need if you want to go in for those Takiwa archers. You don't have to go straight into spearmen. It's less relevant versus the Japanese, because, well, if your opponent goes into Cav, you can go straight into Spearmen, and then you're not really worried because, well, they can't charge at you with Samurai very easily. Whereas, say, a Norse player, they can charge at you with the raiding cavalry and then charge at you with the throwing axemen and make your life very, very miserable. So it is important to sort of utilize the Takiwa archers where that's concerned, because they help take out Hersus to help defend your scorpions. Anyways, neither here nor there. That's a different matchup for a different day, as the early game comes in, and Tunison, I don't think he really comes out of this on top. He did manage to pick off a Deuterino at the start of this one. We do have a Tejupla coming through. I actually don't think this is like the best of attacks right now with the double Miko. All you want to do here is just take the Tejupla out. He does jump onto the villagers. They're going to dive into the tower, no problems. Just sort of yeah, just chase it around, basically. It's not that big of a deal. He's got the heals. In fact, I'm pretty sure the double Miko is going to out-heal the Tejipla here, and that is actually 110% true. So you don't even need to react to it. Just put 2 Mikos there, pull them off favor for the 30 seconds or whatever it is, and then just heal up and you're good to go. But the attack is still coming through, and Tunison is yet, not Tunison, Avely is yet to drop himself his guardhouse for the bushy. He does need those versus those large scorpions. Of course, the Miko are also somewhat of an answer here to actually take out the scorpions, but look at that damage. Not bad. But those Naginata Riders are going to heal back up. Look at that damage these guys have all done already, almost up to 600. Feels good as the guardhouse will come through. Temple going down here is a very, very, very feels bad here though for Avely. He's gonna have to somehow defend this. You could probably get the Miko to repair, and that could be a little bit of a help. But nah, he loses the temple. That's 300 resources down the drain there. Double relics in the middle here should get picked up. That's Jade Hair, amazing relic. And Bone Shards of Mictlan, is that right? Bone Shards of Mictlan? Yeah, so that's favor back for your myth units. I'm not sure if these are considered, they are considered a classical myth unit. I don't know. I don't know if you get the favor for them or not, but if you do, that's like, what is it, 24 free favor. Not free, you have to get the relic, but 24 favor. That's not nothing. As the Physical comes in, and the healing starts. And like I said, this just doesn't do anything. And you've also got yourself, if you are in a pinch, you do have yourself the Solar Shield, if need be. This is just a net loss for Tunison, in my opinion. He really shouldn't be doing this versus Amaterasu, and just versus Japan in general. This is probably why Avely doesn't need to wall up so much. He is getting a little bit of idle time, but like, it's a huge loss for Tunison, in my opinion. He's sacrificing villages. Of course, his villages do sacrifice for more favors, so it's less villages, but even so, it does look like there is a 21 to 26 villager differential. I'm not exactly sure how Avely is this far behind. Maybe he forgot villagers, maybe he had idle time on food or something. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but second town center is going to be the next play here for Avely. Sort of makes sense. He's got the units out to defend it now with those bushy. He's got himself his Naginata Riders. On the other side, though, we are going to be seeing Koyal Zhaokui, which does give the Tsitsimiddles. So he will be able to grab those. He will be able to get himself an Obsidian Shard. He's going to get 2 Obsidian Shards max from losing those there, as the Naginata Riders are going to take full advantage of the fact that Tunison is out of position. Can he pick off a villager? No, he can't. Great control from Tunison there to get away from that. It's Avely trying to just snipe off a unit and then get out of here. He doesn't want to lose anything, and he doesn't manage to get it. Just manages into the tower there. Not a terrible idea to just sacrifice that villager at low HP, especially if he's going to be immediately using that favor when he hits the heroic age. It's really not that big of a deal, and the villagers are gone, and no real losses there on that HP getting taken off. Feels good. No risks anymore, as we will see the Tolachi Trance coming through. Or he cancels it. I'm not sure what he's grabbed. Koyal Zhaokui's Stone as well. Always good for the temple and Great Temple text to be dealt with. As up to the top side here, we will see the warrior priests coming through over onto this side as the Naginata Riders will come in. And there goes the Starfall directly onto the economy. The fact of the matter is there's a lot of bushy here. And nice attack from the Tsitsimiddle on the top as the bushy will snipe that one down. Bit of a poor micro from Tunison there, but he's a little bit too focused on everything else over onto the left side, as the Obsidian Shard will get taken out by the Naginata Riders. Losing the Obsidian Shard in the middle of opponent's base with no units there is generally not what you want to do with these guys. That's why I said miss micro. He got the Vil picks, but then he should have just pulled out. But nonetheless, the Naginata Riders are going to attempt to prevent these myth units from escaping, as the Tsitsimiddles will turn, get a bit of a stun on them. This one will end up going down. And we do have the solar shield coming through here. But yeah, I think this is perfectly fine. Just take the extra damage. You can heal it up anyways. Kill off that sits in the middle, and a really, really nice defense from Avely here. He is behind on villagers, but he is 2 TC. He is behind on tech, but he's got more military at the moment, and he's going to catch up on these villagers very, very shortly. Now, this is where I would say it is time to go in, as he does lose a Deuterino up the top. That's its middle up the top there. As the Wolves will actually take that one out. This is the time I think that Tunison should consider going into... Oh, never mind. He doesn't have... I'm stupid. I was going to say laser turrets, but he doesn't have laser turrets. If he had laser turrets, then this would be the time to go into laser turrets, because if you take a look at the army, Bushi get countered by the Eagle Warriors, right? And then the turrets will kill everything else. Of course, he could also build on the Musha. On the Musha also can get focused down by enough Eagle Warriors. Just a really, really nice sort of composition in general is some sort of Eagle Warrior, maybe Spearman and Laser Turret, or Ocelotl Warrior. But it's obviously expensive. Nonetheless, I'll keep on going on about it until I see someone else at least try it, and then if it doesn't work, then I'll drop it. But at the moment, I'm full send on it. Makes perfect sense. All right, but so far, a defensive game from Avely has been struck. He's in a good position, I think. He's got a very, very safe back gold mine. Of course, there is also the dock angle here from Tunison, which he absolutely should consider going for. Over onto this side, the Naginata Riders are poking their head in. He could try and take out a war hut or something like that, but the base of Tunison is very well defended. All his villages are very, very, very protected. But soon he will have to move to another gold mine. And this one's open. This one's also open. As the Eagle Warriors will throw a couple of pot shots. You don't really want to charge in onto the Eagle Warriors. They're quite strong, especially with this tech. I haven't seen exactly what that looks like when you get the Toloache touch there on the Eagle Warrior. I have seen it being quite strong on the Tequila Archers, because they're actually doing more shots per second. They have more attack speed than the Eagle Warrior, so they're getting more procs of that tech. But obviously, it's going to be working, right? Even so, as we are going to also see the Spearman coming through, Sting of Yapan, and this also makes sense, right? The only answer that Avely has in the classical age versus the Eagle Warrior is the Naginata Rider. So how do you protect the Eagle Warrior? Well, you build Spearman. Now, the best option, I think, for Avely here is to go for Raijin and actually make Raiju. This would be your best bet for both Susanoo and for Amaterasu to deal with the Eagle Warrior. Tsukiyomi might be better off actually going Amano Uzume, actually. And maybe in a sense here, Amano Uzume is the right call for Amaterasu as well, on the fact that you're going to be able to make Kamaitachi, which if you combine them with a Kitsune, they're going to be able to get in there and they're going to be able to take out the Eagle Warriors. If that's what's going to actually end up happening. You have to obviously scout what your opponent's doing and react and all that other good stuff. The other option to take out the Eagle Warriors is going to be the Shinobi, and I think you do need, at the very minimum, Raijin to build Shinobi, because 15% boost of HP for the infantry makes the Shinobi a little bit more bearable to actually build and actually fight with. You might also need the Amano Uzume tech as well. So missing one of those, could have got both of them. Of course, you can't do that with Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi does get bonus damage on the Shinobi, but realistically, I don't think you really need the extra damage on that unit. It's got tons. But anyways, we'll see if Avely can do this. The Samurai coming in here, unfortunately, they are not going to be an option, as they do not do well versus these Eagle Warriors in the slightest here. That being said, the villager differential is starting to pick up, and Avely now has himself his Thunderburst, and I think with Tunison this far out of position, this has to be the fight that he takes, but he's got to be so careful. I feel like he should pull the Naginata riders back away from this, but he's not winning this fight very easily in the slightest. Where's the Raiju at? Does he not have his temple back up? He does have a temple. Where's the Raiju at? It's somewhere. It's over sitting here. If he used that in the fight, look at all those low HP units. Could have been a completely different story, but Tunison gets out of there, and Avely loses a fight with his heroic age god power. That is not what you want. Of course, that's not what you want. A lot of the times, the best games are either when both players waste their heroic age and their mythic age god powers, or both players get max value out of both of them. It's very rarely an easy game if one player does not get value out of their god powers. So we'll see how Avely is going to manage this, but Tunison very smartly is going to say we've got to stop the bleeding on the villager diff here. He's going to grab a town center, also a dock coming down for a potential transport ship. One pretty big weakness here that Avely is going to be able to exploit later is that the Aztecs don't have any healing. So after that Thunderburst, even though he didn't manage to kill all the units, the Thunderburst did get damage done. I tell a lie. The Aztecs do have healing. The Aztecs have the Axolotl. So yes, this ends up being, you have to click the button on it. You have to click the button. It's making some funny noises, but you have to click the button. He's not clicking the button. Anyways, this will actually be able to heal up these units and a huge amount of value to ensue. Maybe that's not what Tunison wanted. He wanted the transport ship. I'm equally excited about the transport ship, but if he did both, it would have been like, wow, you outplayed the everything here. On the flip side, we are going to be seeing Xolotl coming through, which does have the Soul Guide. And this has been a unit that I've been hyping up for a while, but have been yet to actually see in practice having that success that I feel like it should have. As the villagers will sneak over into this corner, Avely will drop a couple of them. The Xolotl will be actually winning this fight if you fight it during the shield. So you have to run away during the shield and then turn onto it, but they're going to go after each other as all those villagers do end up falling. Over onto this side, Avely does hit a counter raid. And over here, we've got the Shinobi coming through. He does have himself, I think, he does have himself the upgrade as a Sean one comes through, and that's going to be a sad state of affairs for all those Shinobi. He should definitely be considering bailing on this position. This is the big problem with the Shinobi to some degree, is that the Sean one is an exceptional counter infantry. So how do you deal with the Sean one? How do you deal with the Eagle Warrior? How do you deal with the Spearman? Well, this is where one of the weaknesses of the Aztecs does come in, which is their weakness towards myth units. So either you're going to be going in for Onmoraki, you're going to be going in for Asura, you're going to be going in for Raiju, you're going to be going in for Oni, you're going to be going in for Tengu. Doesn't really matter which Shinigami, doesn't really matter which one, but you got to be going in for one of them, as the Shinobi will get onto that back line. The Shinobi get cancelled out onto the back, as the Raiju does manage to get in with a small amount of damage here, but onto the backside there goes a little bit of a Obsidian Mirror, but a little bit too late there as well, as the army does actually get cleaned up. And well, I was hyping up the Aztec army, but maybe I shouldn't have been, because that looked brutal. As a fantastic fight from Avely. Tunison, on the other hand, though, did get to the Mythic Age. You could argue he made a bit of a misplay there by pushing forward while going to the Mythic Age. Had he hit Mythic Age, had he had this God Power to drop down Corrupted Ground, probably would have won that fight, or at least forced him to run away, as there goes the Corrupted Ground. Corrupted Ground is such a strong God Power if your opponent sits in it. Now, it's a big if. As you see, Avely says, I'm just going to kill the Great Temple and then get out of there. It's a big if, because he just runs. So far, I would say Avely didn't get max value out of his Thunderburst. Dunison didn't get max value out of his Corrupted Ground. So we're back into that role where we're probably going to see a good game. Love it. It could have been completely over there if Avely just sat there and took that fight. Now the question is, right, how do you find value out of Corrupted Ground? Because it is, simply put, an easy God Power to run away from. One option would be to combo it with Starfall and Corrupted Ground. Another option is to actually go for the Lullaby first, surround the enemy army with your army, and then click Corrupted Ground, so you absolutely dominate it. And I think that's about it, apart from just surrounding your opponent's army naturally just by outplaying them. I mean, you've got a lot of speed inside of the Aztec army, so you probably can manage to do that. But a great attack here from Avely as he's coming through to take out the town center. He's using the Shinobi really, really well. This is 110% how you would want to use these units in this matchup. Rarely do you actually want to get close and actually take a fight. Picking off units and slowly taking more and more of the map, playing very, very, very wild with it as one house goes down and he sees the arm and he says, great, I will leave. There's no problems there. Another house on the way out is fine, I guess. You could probably shoot and scoop with the Shinobi and then Shinjutsu out. And Tunison does have... He's got himself the Soul Master upgrade. I didn't see him going for it, but he's got 6 of them. He's got 6 of them. And is this a special ability? It is. So the special ability happens. What is it? Does it tell me, or do I have to click here? Soul Master ranged attack. No, doesn't want to tell me. Basically, it's just doing chain lightning. I think it's... Well, we'll see. I'll see if I can click on one for the... Oh, up here. I'll see if I can click on one when they use the special. Never mind, that one's already used the special. Anyways. Okuninushi is going to be coming through. The units do get sent back. There was a lot of myth units coming out of the Great Temple, it looks like there, as Tauntaun Smashes are coming through, the champion of Tauntaun Smashes. A lot of people have been sort of saying these aren't the strongest units in the world, but once they get to champion and they get a couple of upgrades under their belt, this guy does have this one as well, not the most important of upgrades for him, but once they get a couple of actual upgrades under their belt, they actually do start becoming very, very scary. Sean one on the top going to go down as another town center is coming up for Avely. Town center on the back there for Tunison. Finishes up. Okuninushi just about to pop for Avely. I am hoping that he does decide to go in for these Onmoraki. This is another interesting thing here. If it's the case that we are seeing more raids up onto the top, the Obsidian Butterfly, double Obsidian Butterfly there is brutal. Poor Avely gets massacred there. If it is the case that myth units are really important versus the Aztecs to actually manage to fight this army, then it does raise that stock of Amanozume inside of this one. I didn't click on the soul guides, did I? This guy will be my guy. Another Thunderburst. Is it 20 damage? He doesn't want to... 40 damage? 20 divine? I got no idea. Anyways, I'm not going to figure it out. Maybe afterwards, maybe you can pause and take a look at what happened there on the UI screen, and then let me know in the chat, in the Twitch chat. But Onmoraki floating on the top here does get dropped with the solar shield. Good defense here from Avely thus far, as he's going to continue to get those out. He's going to get himself that divine prefecture as well. He's not far behind on the upgrades in the slightest, as the obsidian shards do need to get taken out. He does get himself out of the obsidian shards soul masters, so they are incredibly important for him to actually destroy. If he lets them just pop back out, look at the resources he gets. 350 plus 25 favor. That's not nothing. That being said, it does die and, or it does spawn to its death. So it's not that useful if you just leave it there. As the Soul Guide's coming back in, Avely desperately trying to hold on here. These Onmoraki are doing absolute work at the moment. You don't actually get to see exactly how much damage they do because of the what are they called? The wretches. But these guys are an amazing answer to the Eagle Warriors and an amazing answer to archers in general. Which is wild because they're a bird and the only thing that can kill them is archers. That being said, the Warrior Priest comes through. Got to be careful of that one with his Fireball. And there's nothing really left here for Avely. He's got to spend his resources. He's got 4,000 wood, 2,000 gold, as he's just consistently getting torn to pieces by these Myth units. But we'll see if he can hold on with just a little bit. He's really lost his food income here as well, which is probably the big issue for him. Does have another Shrine of the Hunt, which he could potentially drop right in here if he wants to. And that could help him a little bit on the defense, but this is looking really brutal for Avely at the moment. Maybe he's just AFK. I don't know. Now he decides, all right, I'll build some Yuumi archers. A little bit of a desperation attempt there, you'd have to say, because, well, you don't want to build Yuumi archers versus the Eagle Warriors. But then again, you have the answer to the Eagle Warriors inside of the Plaguebringer Onmoraki. Now, onto the top here, we are seeing all of the guardhouses going down. More guardhouses, a castle also on the way here as the Onmoraki doing what they can. Another cheeky little solar shield there will heal up that Soul Master just a little bit there, but keeping it alive for another day as the villagers sitting inside this town center. They're consistently popping out and then consistently dying very, very quickly here. One of the sort of negative bonuses of having Divine Prefecture, making your town center train faster. But nonetheless, town center goes down. We've got some more Bushi, some more Yuumi. All of these Soul Masters are just so strong. Okay, I'm glad that I was at least right that these Soul Masters are doing work here. The issue is, how do you deal with the Onmoraki? But now these heavy Yuumi archers are out, and they do seem to be doing okay versus the Eagle Warriors because there's just not that many left. And now Tunison has to start thinking, okay, I better get those out. He's still trying to push in here and just erase Avely from the game, but Avely has just defended. He managed to spend his resources. He really didn't want to build the Yuumi Archer. I can tell you he is. Every single time we chat about it, and Archers comes up, he says, Archers are terrible. I hate Archers. He doesn't want to build them, but now he's forced to build them because of his economy, and it's working out for him at the moment. He's got to get back out, get himself his town centers. We've got the castle coming up over here. Is there still a Tejipla, a super Tejipla available for Tunison? I think there is, and this might be the answer he needs for the Onmoraki. Teleport in with the special, then start taking him out. Let's see if this is going to work out for him or not, as the Warrior Priest now in there, and there is our Tezcatlipoca incarnate. I have not seen the interaction, so to speak. I have not seen the interaction of Tezcatlipoca with a flying unit, so I don't know exactly what happens there. I imagine it's just a fireball, but I say just a fireball. It's a very strong fireball. But we'll have to wait and see as the army charges forward. The Onmoraki are getting chased in. 4.8 speed is faster than 4.6 speed, but you can run over buildings and things like that to get away from those units as the units charging in here. Avely very much in a difficult position to get out of this. There goes the Tezcatlipoca. Can he attack? He doesn't have a Tezcatlipoca incarnate does not have a ranged flying attack. Now, I don't know if that's intentional or not, but he does not have a ranged flying attack. It could be a bug. It could be intentional. I actually have no idea, but Avely's Onmoraki are looking more and more powerful as this game goes on. Only issue is he's got one town center. He's got a tiny bit of gold left on this gold mine. Well, here's an idea. Take the villagers off of the gold so that you can get more gold in the gold mine from the shrine there as well. If like leave it with 1 gold or something, and then you can let it pop up on gold infinitely until you need to get gold again, because he's floating a ton of it at the moment. That being said, the villagers can now move over onto the town center, and the grind to get out of this position begins right now for Avely. He's got himself an army which, to be honest, with good control, is going to be very, very difficult for Tunison to deal with. But Tunison also is not going to be able to just push into this army. Sorry, Avely is not going to be able to push into this army. That being said, the Soul Master, if it uses its special ability onto the wretches, ends up spawning a ton of these Tlacanex. I can't say it. I tried. These guys. They just end up spawning a ton of these guys. So it's not like it's all well and good for Avely here just because he's making the Onmoraki. There's a very, very interesting interactions going on in this game. But the wretches are now out. No, well, there's that one soul guide. He should definitely consider just turning around, using that special on them, and getting himself that bonus. Stone Skin Kinemetsen are coming through. This is the strongest possible siege weapon you can get, or ranged siege weapon you can get for the Aztecs. Is the Aztecs don't come with siege engineers, right? Because, well, it's a myth unit. It's not a siege weapon, so it doesn't affect them. So why would you have siege engineers? But still, it is very. I think this Stone Skin Kinemetsen gets going pretty well. It's a pretty strong unit. But nonetheless, Town Center is now up for Avely. Avely moving up to the top side. He does have himself a ton of Yeti Spearmen versus a Civ that is barely going to be making... Well, he's making some Jaguar Riders, so it makes sense to be into the Yeti Spearmen. Now, I like that play as now Avely up to the top to grab this gold mine. He does have a market, but I don't see any trade caravans happening just yet. That being said, he doesn't really need trade caravans. What he needs is another town center. He's got this gold mine up the top as well as the Yeti Spearmen coming through here to deal with the villagers. The Jaguar Riders up to the top here with the assistance of the Soul Master. This may be a fight he can take. I'm actually not sure because of all those myth units that will end up spawning if he picks off the right guy. That is, with the Soul Guide. There he goes with the Tlacat Exquimili. And he will actually end up winning this fight, as Avely will say to himself, "There, cavalry! I'm building Yeti Spearmen. How am I not winning?" This is a myth unit. Myth unit counter Yeti Spearmen. So that's why. as the villagers up the top will get smacked to pieces. And the Great Temple goes up, and well, it doesn't matter that Avely loses those villagers. We are actually going to be seeing Tunison charging onto the left side while this is going on, as Avely will move over here with his army. He still has himself 5. He's got 5 of the Playbringer Onmoraki. I don't know exactly. Oh, they're over here. So he will be able to get in onto that backside, get some huge damage done onto the back line as the warrior priests come through, and immediately Avely pulls away as those Eagle Warriors go to town on top of the Yumi Archers here. The Yeti Spearmen tanking decently on the front though, as you have to focus down the warrior priests here if you are Avely, and that's exactly what he's doing, as it looks like this fight, yet again, going in the favor of Avely, as he's just not losing fights. He's just dealing with everything that Tunison is throwing at him. But Tunison is taking every opportunity here, knowing that this Avely army is very immobile and it's not pushing forward. He can take the entirety of the map, and, well, Avely, while he's winning the fights, he's just not gaining any ground, and he's going to get gold starved very, very shortly. I say very shortly, with 3,000 gold in the bank and 1,000 gold to come, but still, he's going to get gold starved, which does which does become problematic. Now, the Oyumi to come through as well as engineers and mechanical artisans is going to be a nice help. Onto the front here, this Great Temple will be needing to get denied. It's going to be a bit of a problem here. You do get... Does he have the Soul Guide tech? I think he does. Soul Guides will pop out when he builds a Great Temple. There it goes. So the Great Temple ends up actually only costing 250 gold, right? If you value the Soul Master, which I think everyone does. And what? It takes off... And you net yourself like a bunch of favor as well, right? Which is going to allow Tunison to actually build all these stone skin Kitametsen as they're going to start sieging down the town center here. Now, one way out of this position for Avely right now is to have actually, instead of going for that mechanical artisans, would have been to actually go for a Titan Gate. That could have been a way out of this, but that's not the case. It's not what he's going for. Playbringer Onmoraki here from Avely have been controlled incredibly well in this game, but equally so, Tunison's response to them has been on another level. He hasn't been able to kill them, but he's been able to take advantage of the fact that he doesn't need to kill them. He just takes the map. Towers going up everywhere. Buildings placing all over the place. Warrior Priests charge forward as all of these Tlakanex Quimili are just going to be ravaging the units here, as these Soul Masters are just like, thank you very much for the wretches. I will take them and I will breed 9 DPS, 175 HP myth units to tank everything you've got. That being said, the Soul Master is about to die, and there is a world here where Avely does break out of this position. I'm not sure if this world is a world we live in or not, but he has to take down all the towers. He's got to take down the Great Temples. He's got to push forward and take out a town center, which is going to be tough too. The Soul Masters are getting taken out, but I just don't think that Tunison is gonna get pushed back. How many Miko do you want? What's the idea with the Miko? Just to heal everything? I'm not exactly sure about that one there, Mr. Avely. Of course, the answer to these Oyumi is a little bit difficult to figure out as well. And this is a big push back here. Maybe this will work, actually. Okay, I think Tunison needs to go Titan here. Tunison needs to go Titan on the fact that the Titan will easily deal with the Oyumi. Whether or not that matters or not, I don't know. It's the Onmoraki now floating overhead. And Avely's Miko Onmoraki Bonanza continues. But you do need to ensure that you're actually defending your Oyumi. The Jaguar Riders are also a really good counter, I guess, to the Oyumi. In fact, Cavalry in general are quite good versus the Mechanical Artisans Oyumi. Does he have a trade route? No. Avely is not playing for a trade. Oh. Is this the issue? Oh dear. His cherry trees have royally screwed him here. His cherry trees from the shrines that he's not using have royally screwed him here. As the town center does fall, the Oyumi will make their way in here. Secrets of the Titans is now coming through, but... and that will spell the end of the game, I think, for Avely, because he knows that... Well, he could get his own Titan out, actually. maybe that'll prolong things. But if he doesn't get his Titan out, the Titan will be able to wander forward, will be able to take out the heavy Oyumi, and life is going to be very, very tough. This Stoneskin Kinemetsun is incredibly inaccurate. Though he does manage to take out the Oyumi over here as well. There goes the Titan Gate for Tunison. Where is he building it? Right on the front. No cares. He knows he's got the position here, and it's just a bit of a grind to get through it all, but he will be able to break in. The Atonton smashes, I'm not sure they're going to be that useful here. Well, they do have a lot of HP. The damage per pop is just not it. The Jaguar Riders are the ones to take out the Oyumi. You could run the Atonton smashes through here and take out everything else, but Avely, he gets his talents in to back up. Is the Yati Spearman going to be coming through here? Funnily enough, Yati Spearman and Oyumi Archer, sorry, Oyumi, do make sense versus this Aztec army as well, right? In fact, what do you build versus that? Maybe if Avely went onto this earlier, this would have been a very different story, because the Oyumi are going to be able to deal with the Eagle Warriors. The Yati deal with any Jaguar Riders. Jaguar Riders kill off the Oyumi, but they won't kill off the Oyumi if the Yati Spearmen are there. Sean ones will die to the Oyumi. This seems like a really strong composition for Avely here, as he is managing now to really push back. Of course, the Titan coming is the issue. I was saying this game is over, but it might not be, though there's basically 0 gold left for Avely, which is going to end the game regardless, but this huge push does so much, and now Avely, or Tunison, scratching his head going, hang on, what units do I build? I can't build Jaguar because of the Yagi. I can't build Eagle Warrior because of the Oyumi. What units do I build? Well, the answer is just get the Titan in and wander in and take out the Oyumi. But the other answer is the fact that Avely has got 0 gold income, and it doesn't matter. But a very, very interesting find here from Avely, a little bit on the late side. But getting to late game Oyumi with Yati Spearman, that's scary. Well, the Titan is now through. It's going to wander in and try and take out the back town center, I guess, as Holy Dead Wretches. I'm not exactly sure what his plan is with this, but can Avely destroy this or not is the question. I mean, you could use your Mikos. It's not like they're bad here. They're doing 160 hack damage every 2 seconds. 80 hack damage a second versus this this Titan. 70,000 effective hack HP is a lot though, so it's going to take a while. The Mikos, they can get in there, and he does do not very much damage versus heroes, right? It doesn't say it here, but I'm pretty sure he's got a minus versus heroes. Nope. No, he doesn't. Thought he did. But he doesn't. Town Center going down for Avely. This Town Center also about to go down for Avely as... Oh, no, it's not. Those are Burning Pitch Eagle Warriors, but it's just not going to happen as the Miko making their way over here. The one population Miko to take out the Titan. It's down to 1,500 HP. 130 population remaining here, however, for Avely as the Mikos try to get in here. The Warrior Priest going after the Onmoraki again as Avely pulls back into his corner. And Avely, in that moment, does tap out as Tunison finds his way through. What a game here, though. What an absolute... Look at all of these great temples onto the side. It's just like, give me all of... They're free. They're basically free, right? So why not? Of course, you have to pay for the great temple, and they're only free in the sense that you get a soul master. If you don't want the soul master, they're not free. Or if you don't value the soul master at this amount of resources, they're definitely not free. But what a game. What a game from Tunison. What a game from Avely. I think if he did find the Oyumi a little bit earlier as an answer here, this could have gone so differently. This could have gone so differently. Nonetheless, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider the follow on the Twitch. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.